Hi, Joe Morrison, founder and CEO of Razor Sharp Consulting and creator of the Donor Finder system here. Today I'm going to provide you the Facebook FastTrack training, how to quickly set up your ads, target your audience, and create high converting campaigns. I'm going to provide this bonus training in case you are one of the few nonprofits who don't want to go with the free $10,000 a month Google AdWords grant, or you want to add this training or add this FastTrack, add this Facebook ad campaign after you've had success with your Google campaign. I wanted to really just help you get a quick start jump on advertising on Facebook, because there are really over 2 billion people right now who use Facebook every month. 1 out of every 5 minutes that people in the US spend on mobile devices is on Facebook or Instagram, and 500 million Instagrammers, which by the way is owned by Facebook, use the Instagram app each month as well. As a matter of fact, in a lot of ways, Facebook is better at attracting prospects than Google when it comes to advertising, because it's so much more targeted. And when you're trying to promote and fund a critical mission like yours, you need to fish where the fish are, and they're definitely on Facebook. But before we begin, let me mention what this training doesn't cover. It does not cover Facebook fundraising. I'm only covering Facebook advertising here. I don't want you to be confused and think that I'm going to teach you how to use Facebook to directly ask others to give money to your cause. I'm not, at least not here. I'm going to teach you how to use Facebook advertising, which of course is a paid service, so that you can attract potential donors to your website and to your cause, and where you can begin the cultivation and conversion process. There's a big difference, and it's important that you understand it, because Facebook has recently launched their peer-to-peer fundraising campaigns. Now, peer-to-peer fundraising is a strategy that makes use of existing donors' networks and encourages friends and followers to reach out to their own peers, their own friends, their own coworkers, family members, and others for donations. Individual fundraisers or individual people usually set up a personal fundraising page using peer-to-peer campaigns in order to accept donations, which are then received, of course, by your nonprofit. What's really interesting is that nonprofits can now do all of that through Facebook. And it's an integrated system that gets right to the heart of asking others to support you, and then in processing those donations. Now, if that's what you want, great. I'm happy for you, but you need to watch the exponential factor training first, which is where I discuss peer-to-peer fundraising and really teach you how to do it properly. Today, however, we're really just talking about advertising. So let's just jump right into it and get you moving. What Facebook advertising will do for you, what any kind of advertising will do for you really, is to take you from being unknown, where the billions of people on Facebook, for example, simply overlook you because you look just like everyone else, to being completely unmissable and standing out from the crowd. And you want to be unmissable, trust me. It's so easy to get overlooked. You want people to see your ad and feel they simply must click on it because you're speaking directly to them. So let's look at how to do exactly that. Everything in Facebook starts with a personal page. And so the first thing you're going to need to do is to make sure you have a personal page. And you can't really do any advertising without this personal page. So if you don't have one, go and create one first, okay? I will assume, for the purposes of this training, that you at least have that part set up before we continue. The next thing you're going to do is to create what's called a Facebook business page. And this is a page that's dedicated to your nonprofit organization. This is different than your Facebook page, your personal Facebook page. And so once you've created your business or nonprofit page, for example, you can then brand the site and in order to provide your audience with a resource to learn more about you and your mission and directly engage people with your organization. So to begin making your new business page, what I'd like you to do is to click on, if you once you've got your personal page done and up and running, click on the little arrow that's up in the top there that you see. Click on that area, and then you're going to choose the words "Create Page" from that little drop-down menu that comes. So the first thing you're going to be prompted to do when you click that Create New Page button is to choose a category for your business or nonprofit page based on these 6 choices: local businesses or places, companies or organizations or institutions, brands or products, arts, bands or public figures, entertainment, or causes and communities. Now, you'll most likely choose companies, organizations, or institutions. That's different, quite frankly, than a cause or community, although you could have a cause. A cause and communities, I just want to make a distinction, generally tend to be projects or movements. They're not really entities or organizations. And I think for now, what we want to do is you're going to choose companies, organizations, or institutions. And to demonstrate really the rest of this process, we're going to create a page for a fictional nonprofit organization. So next you're going to choose nonprofit organizations in, of course, the drop-down list. And then you're going to type in the name of your nonprofit. For our purposes, we're going to use the name Pets Alive. And then, of course, you're going to click the Get Started button. After choosing the appropriate category and name, the page building helper will provide various prompts on how to put your home page together. Simply follow those prompts. I'm not going to go through those. They're very simple. I know you can follow instructions, and I know you can get to this point where you have your business page created. Examples of things that you'll want on your home page here on Facebook is, you're going to want to include an appropriate photograph, which illustrates your organization's mission in some way, of course, especially if the photo elicits an emotional response from your target audience. Remember that the purpose is to enlist potential prospects and donors, right? So you might have to pull at their heartstrings. And you can find photos all over the web using Google. Just be careful when using images that you find off of Google, because some of them might be copyrighted, and you need to be concerned about that. There are places that will provide you stock photos in case you don't have your own. But if you have your own, I would encourage you as much as possible to use real photos of the real people that are being served by your cause. Also, it's really important to include an informative description of your mission, because that will help inform visitors about who you are and what you're doing. For Pets Alive, our description is something like, I think I wrote, our mission is to create a world in which no animal need be euthanized merely because of an immediate lack of a forever home. Okay, that gives a pretty good description of what this fictional nonprofit is designed to do. Now, put as much contact information as you can on your homepage, because you want to allow your audience to interact with you. And hopefully they're going to interact with you in a very personal way. But remember, people give to people, not to causes. And since your Facebook page really has an end result of trying to attract donors to your cause, you want to make it as personal as possible. Some people have rephrased that adage that people give to people, not to causes, by saying that people give to people with causes. And that probably describes you. But either way, make it personal. And make it emotional, and you'll be well ahead of the competition. I want to pause just for a moment here and if we can, and review the first framework that I provided with this training before we go any further. The framework is called Facebook Ad Concepts, and basically what it shows is that there are 4 types of ads that you can create, and they all go back to the foundation that you've already created in the Donor Finder system. In other words, the concepts link back to videos 1, 2, and 3 in the Donor Finder System training. So if you haven't yet completed your perfect donor profile, which is video 1, filled out your mission activator framework, which is video 2, and determined what your donor magnet will be, which is video 3, go ahead and do those things first. Otherwise, you really won't have a good handle on what I'm about to tell you. So as I said, the Facebook ads concept framework shows you that there are 4 types of ads that you can create. In each one, remember that you're trying to move people from their point A to their point B, from their pain or frustration to their passion or ideal state. So the first thing you can show in your ad is something awesome, their point B, without the really bad stuff, their point A. Something awesome, of course, is their passion. Something really bad is their pain or their frustration. For example, increase your credit score without opening new credit cards, or save the whales without harming the planet. These are good examples of the first type of ad that you can create. The next type of ad that you can create is an ad highlighting your signature system. You know, those 3 steps to success that are unique to your organization. Every organization has these steps. For the donor finder system, of course, it's to attract, engage, and convert. The important thing to remember to include here is, of course, is a time frame. From fat to thin in 30 days. From homeless to homeowner in 90 days. Whatever the case may be, highlight the number of steps in the time frame to get your client, and by extension your donor, from their point A to their point B. Another type of ad you can create is the one type ad. This type of ad shows a secret or a single thing that a donor can do to get a result. One thing every successful nonprofit leader needs to get more donors. One thing every man needs to be a better father. This type of ad subtly demonstrates your expertise. You know something that they don't. You know how to move someone from point A to point B. The fourth type of ad here is really a powerful type of ad that fundraisers have been using for years and years in their appeals and their mail solicitations, and believe it or not, even on TV commercials. How one client got an awesome result in X time. Think about this for a minute. Have you ever noticed that the commercials for the starving kids in Africa always show one kid at a time? Well, that's done on purpose. They don't show you groups of kids first and say, all these nameless kids need you. No, they choose one, and they're very specific about what they're going to do to help them. We can feed this child 3 meals a day for less than a cup of coffee. This is the same basic concept. We can help someone get a great result, whether it's food, shelter, or anything else, in a specific time frame for a specific cost. The most successful ads on Facebook follow these types of ads formats, one of these types of 4 formats, and you can use them now too. You can start with one type and see how it goes, or create one of each type and really hopefully rack up the clicks and the engagement on your website. But the first decision you're going to need to make is what type of ad to go with, because that really will determine the rest of the ad creation process. Now, whether you're ready to begin the ad creation process or not, you're going to end up here at some point. So when you're ready to do this, click on the Advertise Your Business button on the new Facebook homepage of your nonprofit page that you've hopefully just created, or maybe that you already have in place. And after you've done this, a dialog box is going to open up with several different options. Now, not all Facebook advertisements are created equal. Some of them are great for getting people to like your page. Some are great for getting your fans to engage with you on a more personal level. And some are great for prompting your audience to click a post that will send them to your website. And of course, the last choice here in the list, share your page with friends, costs you nothing. And you should always do at least that part, even if you don't do any of the others. After all, who's going to be behind your cause more than your friends, right? Those who know you personally. And don't forget to ask those personal friends to spread the word to their friends too, especially if they have contacts in your networks who would likely support your mission or have some other connection to your cause. If you look to the immediate right of the red circle here, you'll see your list of friends. I would go ahead and invite them all. Okay, can't hurt, right? Invite them to like your page and to start to engage with you. Now, for the purposes of this training, however, I want you to click on the Get More Website Visitors tab. There's a bunch of options there, but really this is what we want to do. That's our primary purpose right now. We want to attract visitors to our website where we can then engage and convert them. Now, if you have money to spend, you can always play around with the other different options and see how they perform for you. But for now, though, let's just stick to this one. Now, before we go any further, you really need to ask yourself, what action do you really want people to take? What's your end game here? As a nonprofit, of course, promotion of your mission always takes the form of getting the word out, building a following through a targeted advertising and targeted lead generation or donor generation. And ultimately, you, of course, want donations to come to your cause as a result of your promotional activity. So ultimately, you want people to give, right? So how do you get there? The first 4 bullets in the center block of the Facebook ads framework talks about establishing your campaign objectives. And the first 4 are important, but the, let's see, 5th, 6th, 7th one is also important, event responses, as you can see from this list. These are the things that are probably most pertinent to what you're trying to do. I recommend for beginners that you choose clicks to website, of course, but you might have something else in mind. And so these are the things that you're probably going to think about advertising for. Facebook provides a list of these options for you when you start to create your ads, and they're outlined in your Facebook ads framework, which is page 2 here of your framework, and they include all of these things. A page post engagement, which really promotes your posts on Facebook. You've got page likes, which really just gets people to like you on your Facebook page and grow your audience and build your brand. You've got clicks to website, which is really what we're going to concentrate on, get people to visit your website. You've got website conversions, which are a little different than clicks. You're really actually going to get people to perform certain actions on your site. Now, website conversions are a little different because they require adding something called Facebook pixels or code to your site. The next is app installs. Get people to install your mobile or desktop app if you have one. App engagement. Get people to use your desktop app or mobile app. Of course, event responses are one of those things that you might want to play around with and get people to increase attendance at your events. And then, of course, we have offer claims here. Create offers for people to redeem in your store if you've got an online store. At this point, think about your donor magnet. I want you to go back to your donor magnet. Think about that. You might think that website conversions is really your objective here, but because, after all, you want your prospects to take action by downloading your donor magnet, right? And then you're going to work to convert them or, convert them into donors. Well, this is all true. And of course, website conversions are a great thing to have and to monitor. But it's a bit more advanced than really this FastTrack training allows for, because it requires adding pixels or code to your website so that Facebook can monitor, track, and report the results of those conversions. And then Facebook is able to actually retarget advertisements to people who take actions or don't take actions on your site. But it's a little more complicated to set that up. And so suffice it to say, for now, we want to keep things simple. And not get lost in all of the minutia. And we could go down that path and be totally lost by the time we're ready to go move on to the next part of the advertising campaign. And I don't want to lose you. So you can always learn the more advanced concepts a little bit later. But for now, let's briefly look at what each type of ad does for you. Okay, those, especially those website clicks that we want. The first type of ad is a page post engagement ad. And this really is a kind of ad that can boost a status, a photo, a video, a website link, or an offer that you've already posted on your web page or your Facebook page to a much larger audience in order to increase the engagement in that particular post or photo or video. In other words, what this kind of ad is designed to do is to get more likes, get more shares, and get more comments. And these are the best types of ads to drive engagement to your Facebook posts. Now, getting likes on your Facebook is another kind of ad or purpose that you can have for your campaign. And it can be a great thing for a few reasons. One, you establish a strong credibility on the site. So when someone researching your nonprofit finds your page, they see that you have a good amount of happy followers. The second great thing is that as soon as someone follows you, your nonprofit posts will sometimes show up in their news feed free of charge. And you can create these ads with either Facebook Ads Creator or a Power Editor. And as the ad shows up in your audience is right-hand sidebar or news feed or mobile feed, it's also going to show all of the likes that your page has already earned, as well as any friends of that user who likes your page. So it's a nice credibility, consensus building, social validation building kind of activity, advertising campaign to engage in. The next type of ad, or the purpose of the ad, is clicks to website. And this is really where I want you to really just hone in on and think that this is what you want, because it is. Now, clicks to website are similar to page post engagement ads, but their main focus is to drive traffic to your website away from Facebook. These types of ads are really what you want to start with so you can get prospects to download your donor magnet and begin the automatic engagement process. Unfortunately, it's hard to create that automatic engagement process on Facebook, although it's possible. It's much easier to do it through your website, which is really your engagement engine. So this is what you want to start with. And these ads, these kinds of ads, do really a great job of driving traffic to your website, particularly because the ad format has more copy in it to work with, and the image you choose will click right through to your website. Another purpose can be app installs, of course. If you have a desktop or mobile application that's associated with your product or your organization, you can attach it to your business page. And then you can create ads that encourage users to download that app. And these types of ads are perfect for nonprofits that are tech-friendly, where most of the value lies with people using some kind of app. Now, if your nonprofit has an event that they'd like to promote, this is one of, if not the best, ways to go about it, using event responses. You basically write an enticing invitation, and then you promote it out to the audience segments that you think might find it interesting. Now, this won't necessarily get donors to your website, but it might just get donors to your event. And that could be equally as important. So you have to decide what it is you want to have accomplished through the different types of ads. So who doesn't like free stuff, right? This is another type of purpose for your ad. Let's say you've created an offer on Facebook. Well, you can continue to promote that offer out to other Facebook users. And this could be useful for finding new customers and driving them back to your site. The offer usually entails some kind of discount for a product or a service or a free item. Now, this is slightly different than your donor magnet offer. For example, I have a nonprofit client that sells a lot of books and DVDs, and they sometimes offer discounts in order to drive people to their store when their fundraising goals are falling short in other areas. So offer claims can really be a great method of bringing in larger and larger numbers of people who wouldn't normally maybe come to your site. Let's talk about your budget for a moment. That is how much money you plan to spend. As we learned from the previous slide, there are many different objectives which you might pursue, all of which have various costs and will take up some of your budget. And in planning for the advertising budget, we need to bear in mind that while visitors to our website are important, and likes to our Facebook page and our online platforms are important, those things by themselves will not convert prospects or visitors into donors. Of course, getting donations is our ultimate objective. And other parts of the campaign, like driving traffic to the website, encouraging likes, and uplifting posts, should be in support of getting prospects to actually make a donation. The reason I mention this is that so many of you remain focused on the wrong things, and I want you to be focused on the right things and not become lost in the excitement sometimes of how many likes you get, right, or how many followers you end up with. Keeping all of this in perspective really should help you when you create your budget. And help you determine how much to spend on whatever objectives that you choose. And I can't choose your objectives for you. Only you can do that. The great thing about Facebook ads is that you can choose a certain amount, say $20, for example, and maybe as a daily limit for what you're going to spend. And Facebook will automatically monitor those expenses and never charge you more than what your limit is set at. And I highly recommend you using this feature for most cash-strapped nonprofits, right? Because that's typically the way we find ourselves. We're cash-strapped. We never have enough money to make things work, which is why we're trying to find new donors, right? So be sure to add your account information and payment information, such as your credit card number, into your Facebook account when you're asked and prompted to do that, because unfortunately, Facebook won't run your ad for free. I'd like to say that they would, but they won't. This is different than the Google AdWord campaign, which, you get that free advertising money. Facebook yet doesn't have quite that same option. Maybe someday they will, but for now they don't. So you can spend really a lot of time and money creating an amazing advertisement and spending a few dollars with a beautifully designed image and great copy. But if you aren't showing it to the relevant audience, then what's the whole point, right? And for this reason, Facebook is one of the best platforms out there for advertisers. It has a fantastic ability to segment an audience. Believe it or not, Facebook knows a lot about you, and they know a lot about a lot of people. They know a lot about all of their users, and that's information they can use for advertising. All right, and you can tap into that. Its ability to target an audience and an individual happens on the individual advertisement level. And it's not some big generic thing. It's based on your specific advertisement. And of course, that's housed under the ad sets. If you're looking for your ads in your structure, think of these as sort of folders. You have ad sets, and then you have campaigns, and then you have advertisements. And so it really drills down to the very specific advertisement that you have, and can really target your specific audience better than any other type of advertisement you can put out there. You're going to reach your audience really, really effectively and very cost effectively if you use Facebook advertising. Now, one of the things that you can do, or that Facebook can help you do, is to segment your audience and get very specific on who's going to be attracted to your ad. And some of the ways you segment an audience on Facebook are by location, age, interests, gender, languages, education level, relationship status, political views, whether or not they are connected to your page. So these are all things you can use in order to make sure your ad is getting to the right place. For instance, who would be the target audience of our fictional nonprofit, Pets Alive? Well, for starters, our target audience potentially lives all over the world, right? There are people all over the world who love pets and want to maintain them. However, advertising all over the world is probably too broad an audience for us, and we need to be realistic. Getting a donor, say, from Uzbekistan isn't as likely as getting one from, say, New York City. So our target audience probably lives in the United States or possibly even Canada. And if you can target that down to even more specific geographic locations that you really found your audience to be in, then you'll do even better. So our target audience probably lives in the United States or Canada, as I said, and from your donor research, you might have determined that most of the people who are concerned about animals caught in the system of kill shelters are, let's say, they're millennials, right? So your target audience might be between the ages of 20 and 40. So do you get the idea that you can drill down to get very, very specific in all of these areas and really reach the kinds of people that you want to attract to your cause? When you drill down like this, it achieves two things. It keeps the cost manageable, and it increases the likelihood of a successful fundraising effort. And once again, I want you to go back to your perfect donor profile. You should know already from completing that framework the details of what your perfect donor looks like, your perfect audience. Use that data when choosing your audience demographics in this step. So you've already done the homework. All you have to do is plug it in. Now that you've decided which users you want to target and what you want them to do, it's best to think of where we're going to place the advertisements. If you were to, take a traditional advertisement out, you would say, oh, I want to put this in the newspaper and I want to make a billboard and I want to place it in I want to place some in stores or retail outlets. Well, you need to do the same thing with your online advertising through Facebook. All right. And there are really three main locations on the site that you can choose to display your ad. So, and each one has their pros and cons. And what I'd like to do just very briefly is look at all three of them. The newsfeed post is probably the most prominent on the Facebook advertising placements. These ads show up seamlessly in a user's feed along with the content that they see from their friends and the people that they follow. Now, users are told that it's a sponsored update, of course, with a disclaimer saying it's sponsored. But the posts still seem genuine since they can be liked and commented on like any other post. And this is a really great place to place your ad because it's right there. It's right in front of them. They can't miss it. It shows up in their newsfeed as they're scrolling, and it's really targeted to them. Now, as most people know, a good amount of the world's internet traffic is shifting toward mobile devices. In fact, Facebook has reported there are 1.25 billion mobile monthly active users on their social network. That's a lot of people. And with such a large user base, it would seem like advertising to users on a mobile device would be a given, right? Well, the answer to that question really depends on whether or not your nonprofit has a mobile-friendly site. You wouldn't want to pay to drive traffic to your site if they're going to have a poor user experience and can't see your content, which is something all advertisers should bear in mind, okay? So think about that before you choose this as the option you're going to use. And we addressed this issue about how to, the importance of using a mobile, creating a mobile website, in the engagement engine training in video 5 of the Donor Finder system. And finally, we have, the right-hand column. The advertisements on the right-hand side of the screen sit directly beneath the trending topics section of your Facebook page. And these ads are actually currently in a state of change as Facebook is moving away from advertising with several ads per page to one with fewer ads of maybe larger sizes. And if there's one thing that's sure in this world, it's that Facebook will change something as soon as you get used to it. So even right now, as I record this, by the time it's published, Facebook might have changed this thing. But for now, it seems like they still have ads there, and regardless of the number of ads that appear on the right-hand side, the right-hand column is a good location for your ad. Okay? So those are the three placement locations. And quite frankly, that's about it. That's all the decisions you need to make to get an ad on Facebook. And after a review by Facebook, by the way, your ad will be up and running in pretty short order. Now, if something's wrong with your ad, Facebook is going to let you know, okay, before it goes live and before they publish it, so that you can change and then, of course, resubmit the ad for approval. That's a pretty simple process, right? And that's really what I'm trying to do throughout the donor finder system. Create a simple, straightforward guide that gets you to your destination in no time. And so that really does complete the Facebook FastTrack training. It's really not rocket science. And if you've done your homework and you've laid the foundation, so to speak, creating Facebook ads can really be a breeze. After a while, you won't even need to think about it, and you'll crank these ads out quicker than a lion tracking down a gazelle. But a few final words, if I may, before I go. This training was really designed to help small nonprofits establish themselves on Facebook and to take advantage of the paid advertising aspect of it. But that's not the only side of Facebook. Once you've driven all of these prospects to your page, it's equally as important to continue to engage with them. And while it might be nice to gain some quick donations with a few advertisements, the cultivation of your donors requires more relationship building. And that's what Facebook can help you do. Build relationships and cultivate and engage donors. And that's exactly why I created the donor finder system. But you have to take action. There's an old Irish proverb which says, nodding the head does not row the boat. You can sit there and agree with me all you want, but if you don't take action, you won't get very far. Action requires movement. It's really that simple. Get moving and you'll get results. I know you can do it. I have total faith in you. Now, if you have questions about how to do something different on Facebook or a more detailed aspect of Facebook, then the place to get your questions answered is in the Donor Finder System community. That's why we've created that community for you. Join us there, post a question, upload an ad, ask for feedback, and interact with me and others, and together we'll get you where you need to go. I truly honor you for taking this time to invest in yourself and grow your nonprofit through Facebook advertising. I really hope you found this helpful. Take care and good hunting. Bye-bye for now.